Welcome back to another video, guys. My name is Lauren and you're watching Loz's Hideaway, and today we are reacting to a video from Eden Egner, and if you don't know who that is, he is a famous YouTuber, and I'll leave the link to his channel down below, so go and check him out. And we are watching the video British versus American Harry Potter, like facts that you didn't know. So let's get into the video. But before we get into the video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to comment down below what house you are in.
Depending on where you're from, you and I could have had very different experiences with Harry Potter. Hi, so I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I've been to all the midnight releases of the books, I've been to all the midnight releases of the movies, I've seen it countless times, I've read it countless times. I can actually count it 2 to 3 times. Either way, no matter how many
Okay, so disclaimer, I have watched all of the Harry Potters, but this might make some of you angry, not in order, because I did watch them at my boyfriend James's, and they were on Sky Cinema different times, like not in order, and his family are big Potter fans. That's the reason I got into Harry Potter, and I prefer Fantastic Beasts over Harry Potter, even though that is controversial.
times I revisit the franchise, I always find new things that I didn't notice before. So today, I'm going to share a lot of those with you, especially as not a lot of my friends know any of these because some of them are very specific between the American and British copies. Now, I feel like I have to start off.
Okay, so before I read the title of this, I did not know there was a British and American version, and I'm very intrigued about the American versions because obviously they probably changed the some of the phrases and how it looks so it fits better for American viewers.
By saying, I'm American, and so it's the Sorcerer's Stone for me, okay? That's what I grew up with. I read the Sorcerer's Stone and I saw the Sorcerer's Stone. That was the film for me. A lot of British friends.
Okay, Sorcerer's Stones. That sounds really weird. It's Philosopher's Stone. Sorcerer. There is something magical about Sorcerer, though. I gotta give him that.
They will argue with me and say, well, obviously it's supposed to be philosophers. What did they say in the film, Evan? Fun fact, if you didn't know this, in America, the film Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, they say Sorcerer's Stone. Every single time they filmed it, they had to say philosophers for the Brits and sorcerers for the Americans. So there's 2 different versions of the film. And so we're living in our own bubbles thinking, oh yes, sorcerers, it is sorcerers. Now a lot of British people will say, oh, it's because Americans, they're too dumb. They don't know what a philosopher is. Incorrect, okay, that's not the real reason. Rowling did want to keep it philosopher, but someone over at Scholastic was like, listen, JK, all right? I know you're just kidding here, but American kids, they don't want to read a book about philosophers. Philosophers, bleh, boring, learning, Socrates.
To be fair, I see why they changed it, but at the same time, if JK wanted to keep it that way, they should have kept it that way since she wrote the book. Not the person in America, a British woman called JK. They should have kept it that way, but it does sound more intriguing when it's called sorcerer than philosopher.
You know what I'm saying? Now, sorcerer, ooh, magical. Sorcery, that's what the kids are gonna read. And you know what? It worked for me, okay? I picked that book up, I was like, sorcery, that's got me all over it. I don't wanna read a book about Aristotle. I don't give none of that. Nope, not having that. So that's why personally, I still say sorcerers. That's how I grew up. So please forgive me. Please forgive the bones.
No.
It is not bonfire night, okay, England? Bonfire night is Sunday. I'm filming this on Saturday. This is unacceptable. The French would say this is not bon, right? You're fired.
To be fair, it should have been on Sunday, the fireworks, but a lot of people do it on the Saturday because they can do it really late at night because they don't have work in the morning, but where Sunday you go to bed early, so then they don't do it, and a lot of people can party more on a Saturday. But at the same time, you should have done it on a Sunday. We are sorry, Evan, for upsetting you.
Now, you may not have noticed this, but when it comes to wand magic, in the first film, Harry Potter literally did none of it correctly. There is not one instance in the film where he used his wand to perform any spell and it worked. You might think of, oh, Wingardium Leviosa? Well, that was one instance where he did use his wand to do a spell, but it didn't work, right? He was really bad at it. At one point, he literally brought a lantern in to the library. Lumos, anyone? Hello? He didn't learn that yet. Of course, it was his first year. We're gonna give him a break. I just think that's really funny that in a, film about magic, no magic from the main character. Didn't know how. Also, if you recall, there's a scene in The Sorcerer's Stone where Fred and George throw snowballs at the back of Pearl's head, which, now that you think about it, literally was just hitting Voldemort in the face.
That made me laugh, Voldemort in the face. I wonder how long it took them to do his makeup, because he has like no nose and everything, and it looks really good. I want to know the artist behind it as well, because they are clever.
A bit funny. Maybe that's how he lost his nose. Who knows? You'd think with all the witchcraft and wizardry, you could like do some magical plastic surgery, get your nose back. I don't know. Now, depending on how big a fan you are, when it comes to Voldemort, you may have noticed that in the films, they do not pronounce the T in his name. They say Voldemort. Now, I somehow, reading the book and also seeing the films, never noticed until like one of the last ones where I went, that's weird. They're not pronouncing his name right. As if I am the go-to guy on how to pronounce names, okay? Hermione? Hermione? I actually pronounced it Hermione when I first read it. And thank God for Victor Crumb. But basically, it is a French, like, derivative. Voldemort's supposed to have the word death in it more, so don't pronounce the T. Either way, I'm still gonna pronounce the T because I'm uncultured. Sorry, I'm an English speaker, okay? We like to pronounce the T's at the end. We're not French. We only make some letters silent, like K's, or N's, or P's. Okay, never mind. Now, I feel like most fans would know that most of the book was written by Rowling in a small cafe in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
But some people may not know that there are some characters that were literally names from a nearby graveyard she passed by. Tom Riddle is one of them. You can...
Okay, from a nearby graveyard. That is creepy to me. She just happened to walk by and pick the name from a graveyard. I know people get inspiration from literally anything they see, but a graveyard? Wow. Is that woman okay?
Still find that in Scotland. Visit the graveyard of Voldemort. I guess he's dead now. You know, he's got dead in the name. Now he's dead. Weird. When it comes to any book, localization is always a really important thing. So because the author was British, they had to transcribe a lot of the words and expressions into American English. Why? We just don't have the same expressions. One word that seemed to upset a lot of Americans, myself included, because I didn't really know what it meant, was git. I believe filch was referred to at one point as, like, an old git. Obviously, I used context clues, and I was like, an annoying man? Maybe? It just means idiot, but a very mild form. It's not really a swear, just... British people use. I haven't even heard the word git in England since I moved here. Maybe like once or twice to refer to like an animal.
You never heard the word git other than once or twice. It's really common where I live. Especially when people are angry. You're a git. Or what a git he is. Like, it's really common. How do you not hear it?
Just, oh, you move it, you git. Or get on, you get. I don't really know. Another one I find really funny is the password to Dumbledore's office. Something that you think should stay the same. I mean, that's something so small. But he named it after his favorite Muggle sweet from England, a sherbet lemon. Guess what? No one in America knows what that is. And if you say sherbet lemon, I'm thinking of a big old tub of sorbet. Right? I'm thinking of a delicious lemon-flavored sorbet. So they changed it in America to lemon drop. I know what a lemon drop is. That's a nice little hard sweet. It's not the same, though. I've had sherbet lemons in England, and oh my gosh, also one of my favorite sweets. Delicious. One thing that was not localized between British and American was the floor labeling system. If you're unaware of this, this is something that still angers me to this day. In America, we say the first floor is the first floor you walk into. The second one would be the one above that. You know, the second floor you go to. In England, the system is a bit different. The first floor you go into is the ground floor. And then the first one is the first one up. So it's basically 0, 1, 2, 3, as opposed to America's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so, in the book...
Okay, I don't know why this gets him so angry, but it's called ground floor because normally it's leveled with the main, like, ground, the pavement. Sometimes it might be higher because of, like, stairs, but then it goes 1 because it's the one above it. I don't get what's so confusing about that. I understand 1, 2, 3 better. I understand why they like that better. But we always refer the first floor as ground floor. Like, why are you so angry about that? It's just floors.
Anytime it's described the first floor, that actually means, you know, 1 floor up, whereas in America we would immediately think of the ground floor. I mean, it's a small thing. You might have not noticed, but there you go. If you can't tell, obviously I side with the American one on this. Now, though most all characters in Harry Potter were completely fictitious, there was one that is a real person, and that person is Nicholas Flamel. The guy that made the Philosopher's Stone in the first place, that's actually a real story. That's what it's based on. I think that's why most people are angry that the Americans call it Sorcerer's Stone, because the Philosopher's Stone is a thing. There's like this old folk story about this guy who's a real person, Nicholas Flamel, who was so good at alchemy, he invented this thing that allowed him to live forever. Hooray! Good job! Let's call it Sorcerer's Stone instead. Yeah. Something you may not have noticed. Do you remember that iconic scene in the Chamber of Secrets with Moaning Myrtle? How she's showing such a wide range of emotions like a very talented actress. That may be because the 16-year-old character was portrayed by a 36-year-old.
Oh my god. So a 36-year-old was playing a 16-year-old. Okay, that just blew my mind because I know people play characters older than them or younger than them. But that big of an age gap, that woman is talented. Sorry, I'm still trying to process that she played a 16-year-old as a 36-year-old. God, she looks really good in that. Oh my god. I wish I was good at acting like that, but I'm not good at acting at all.
Actress. Bet you didn't know that. Wow. If you did, I don't believe you, okay? Just don't.
I didn't.
Now, before moving to England, a lot of the stuff described in Harry Potter was this magical fantasy for me. So much of it was this work of art by the genius J.K. Rowling, and only she could have invented such amazing things such as prefects or houses or King's Cross, St. Pancras. But in reality, those are all real. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know those were real places. I moved to England and I found out prefects are a real thing, okay?
Okay.
The whole system, there's so many references in Harry Potter to British culture that I just don't think Americans can get. Like, you'll still enjoy the books and the films massively, yes, but there's so much more that you will enjoy if you get the little references to British.
To be fair, the same can be said for all these like big American movies. You will not enjoy it as much unless you've been there and you get the references. Like some of the stuff I watch, I still go, I don't get that. Or they reference it and it's like my friend who's been to America would be like, oh yeah, it's this place and it looks so amazing. And I'm like, I don't get the reference.
British culture in it. First of all, to put it in American terms, boarding schools are a popular thing that people can go to in the UK, and they have housing type systems.
Boarding school. I only know one boarding school, not that far from me, and my friend's dad works there. That's the only reason I know of it. But I don't know anyone that goes to boarding school. I don't know many either. So I don't think they're as popular down by where I live, but maybe up like London, like I'm gonna say it might not be right, but the posher end of England, the posh area, because most boarding schools, if I remember correctly, you have to pay for, and public schools now do have like the housing system. I'm not going to say what house I was in, but I'll say the colour because the names it's after is from local famous people. So I was in a purple house.
Similar to Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, Slytherin. Everyone has their own houses, and everyone's kind of competing and saying they're the best house. That is one of the coolest things I've ever learned about England. Wow. Also prefects, the head of house, that type of thing. That is a real thing as well. It's basically like a hall monitor, kind of. That is a thing. It's not just magic, okay? Real stuff. Now, everyone can understand the concept of the night bus. I mean, that's a crazy, kooky bus that takes you downtown. Well, guess what? It is, I think, a bit funnier after going on the night bus in England, in London. I mean, you take a night bus trying to get home at night and it's a horrible experience, okay? It's swerving all over the place. There's a drunk guy that's drooling on your shoulder and you don't know how to tell him to get off because you're too polite to say anything about it. That is the experience of a night bus. And so when I read it in the book, didn't really mean much. I was like, oh, okay, cool. What a fantastic little story. When I read it after moving to England, it was like, no. Triggered. Now, you might recall that in the Wizarding World, spellotape can be used to fix any objects that might not be able to be fixed by a spell, which, as an American, cool. What a cool thing that she invented. What you don't know, it's a play on words, okay? In America, we call adhesive tape Scotch tape. In England, they call it sellotape. Sellotape, spellotape. She's making a pun.
I thought sellotape was sellotape in America. I didn't know you had another word for it. I thought Scotch tape was something completely different. And when I think of Scotch tape, I think of Scott, who has tape. I'm just weird like that.
Doing the pun. I didn't even get it. You can't get it. There's so much more you can enjoy. So much more. Now, one fact that I find that nobody that I know knows before I tell them is that Hogwarts Express was meant to leave from Euston Station, not the iconic King's Cross St. Pancras. When describing the station in the book, Rowling was actually describing Euston Station, but could not remember whether or not it was Euston or King's Cross, so went with King's Cross instead. Well, worked out because I feel like King's Cross is a better station in my opinion anyway. But yeah.
To be fair, I did not know that at all. And I'm going to London soon, and we're going to London Euston because we have to get the train there since neither me and my mum can drive. But we did go to King's Cross a few years ago, the first time we stayed at London, and it looked amazing. The shop there was amazing. But I can't wait to see London Euston, to be fair.
That one in itself is pretty darn cool. Stop the works of fire. Literally. No. How long can you have fireworks in this country? It has been going on for 3 hours! Now, I feel like most every Harry Potter fan would have noticed this at this point, but just in case there's some of you out there that haven't, we'll set the scene. It's the Goblet of Fire. Someone has put Harry Potter's name in it. In the book, Dumbledore, he calmly requests, Harry, did you put your name into the Goblet of Fire? In the film, did you put your name into the Goblet of Fire? There's a bit of, not calm there. Well, those are all the fun facts that I noticed, but please be sure to leave me a comment on how many of those you didn't know, and also if there's some that I missed that you noticed, please tell me. I'd love to hear about that. And lastly, be sure to Wingardium Leviosa subscribe, because you know what? Do videos every Sunday. I'm loving it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye. Oh, I shaved.
As you can see, Evan is in a blue jumper because he's a Ravenclaw. Now, if you didn't guess already, I'm a Hufflepuff. That's why I'm wearing a yellow jumper. And you probably already know that if you're following my TikTok. But comment down below what house you're in. And if you did stay to the end of the video, also comment down below Harry Potter is the best. And then I know you stayed till the end. Also, don't forget to click that subscribe button and the bell notification so you get notified every time I upload. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next Friday.